Life does not give you the life you want. Life gives you the life you are willing to build. And I know you might be saying, but I'm overloaded. I'm tired. I'm uncertain about what's next. That's exactly why you must rise up. Because destiny has never been handed to anyone on a silver platter. It has always been built with intention, with faith, and with action. Your current feelings don't define your future. They are signals to shift and grow. Too often, people believe that how they feel right now is a prophecy of how their life will turn out. They think that being overwhelmed, stressed, or exhausted is proof that they are stuck forever. But feelings are not the same as facts. Feelings are temporary indicators, like warning lights on the dashboard of a car. They are telling you to pay attention, not to pull over and give up. If you misinterpret them as permanent conditions, you will stop moving forward and surrender the very life you were designed to create. When you feel overloaded, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're carrying more than you should, and it's time to reorganize and release. Life has a way of piling on responsibilities, expectations, and distractions, but overload is simply a signal to realign your priorities. It's a call to strip away what doesn't serve your purpose and focus on what truly matters. Overload should not be a wall that stops you. It should be a reminder that you need to adjust the way you carry the weight so you can keep moving. When you feel exhausted, it doesn't mean you're finished. Exhaustion is your body and soul whispering that you cannot keep pouring from an empty cup. It's a signal to rest, recharge, and then return stronger. Many people confuse exhaustion with defeat. They think because they're tired, they've failed. But exhaustion is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of effort. It means you've been pushing, working, and striving. What you must learn is how to channel that effort more wisely so you can conserve your energy for what really matters. Uncertainty is another signal that most people misread. When you don't know what's next, fear tries to convince you that nothing is possible. But uncertainty is not a curse. It's an invitation. It's a blank canvas where you get to paint the next chapter of your life. If everything were predictable, there would be no growth, no risk, and no reward. Uncertainty forces you to trust, to imagine, and to innovate. It stretches you beyond the safety of the known into the possibility of the new. Feelings, whether overload, exhaustion, or uncertainty, are not meant to define you. They are meant to refine you. They sharpen your awareness, increase your resilience, and point you toward areas of growth. If you interpret them correctly, they become allies instead of enemies. The problem is not that you feel them. The problem is believing they are your destiny. Your destiny is far greater than your current emotional state. Think of every great achievement in history. Behind every success story was someone who felt exactly what you feel now. They were tired, unsure, and burdened, but they understood the difference between feelings and facts. They didn't let temporary emotions dictate permanent decisions. They recognized that those signals were guiding them to shift, to adapt, to improve. They didn't stop because of the signal. They responded to it. When you shift your perspective, you begin to see feelings differently. Instead of saying, I'm overloaded, so I can't move forward, you begin to say, I'm overloaded, so it's time to let go of what doesn't belong. Instead of saying, I'm exhausted, so I should quit, you begin to say, I'm exhausted, so I need to renew my strength and keep going. Instead of saying, I'm uncertain, so I should stop, you begin to say, I'm uncertain, so I have an opportunity to explore and create. That shift in interpretation is the difference between being stuck and being unstoppable. Growth only happens when you listen to the signals and act on them correctly. A plant grows toward the light, not because it doubts the darkness, but because it senses where life comes from. In the same way, your feelings are pointing you toward areas where you must adjust. If you're overloaded, it means there is something in your life that doesn't align with your mission. If you're exhausted, it means you must change the way you rest and work. If you're uncertain, it means you must trust the vision more than your sight. Every time you acknowledge these signals and choose growth instead of defeat, you strengthen the foundation of your future. You begin to build resilience, discipline, and faith. You stop seeing feelings as final verdicts and start seeing them as temporary teachers. And once you learn the lesson, you no longer fear the feeling. You understand it and you use it. That understanding is power, and that power is what will carry you through seasons of difficulty into seasons of triumph. So when overload comes, when exhaustion hits, and when uncertainty surrounds you, remember, these are not signs that you can't move forward. They are simply reminders that something needs to shift and growth is calling you to answer. If you choose to listen, you will rise. If you choose to act, you will build. And if you keep building, no feeling in the world will ever be able to define or confine the future that belongs to you. Builders build even when tired, uncertain, or doubted. Progress comes through persistence. The truth is, waiting for the perfect condition to start will keep you stuck forever. The perfect day, the perfect clarity, the perfect resources, they rarely come. Progress is made by those who decide to move anyway, by those who push through fatigue, by those who step into uncertainty, and by those who ignore the voices of doubt around them. Every meaningful achievement in life was built on persistence, not convenience. There is something powerful about continuing to build when you don't feel strong. It proves that your vision is greater than your emotion. When the body is tired, but the mind stays committed, momentum is created. That momentum carries you past the point where most people quit. Anyone can take action when it's easy, but it's persistence in difficulty that separates the successful from the stagnant. Building while tired forces you to lean on discipline instead of motivation, and discipline is what produces lasting results. Uncertainty is one of the greatest tests of a builder. You don't always know if your plan will work. You don't always know if people will respond. You don't always know what challenges will rise tomorrow. But progress doesn't require certainty. It requires movement. When you build in uncertainty, you are planting seeds in faith. You may not see the harvest yet, but you trust that it will come. Many people wait until they know for sure. But those who build anyway are the ones who eventually create proof that it can be done. Then there are the doubters, the ones who watch from the sidelines and question your ability, your decisions, and your potential. Some of them speak out loud and others keep silent, but watch with skepticism. Yet, even in the face of doubt, builders build. They don't pause their vision to silence critics. They don't shrink their dream to match the expectations of small minds. They understand that doubt from others is not a reflection of what is possible. It is simply a reflection of someone else's limited perspective. Persistence is the antidote to all of these challenges. Tiredness tells you to stop, but persistence tells you to keep going one more step. Uncertainty tells you to wait, but persistence tells you to move anyway. Doubt tells you that you can't, but persistence proves that you can. Every brick laid in persistence is stronger than 10 bricks laid in convenience. Because persistence builds character, and character is what sustains success when it comes. Building while tired teaches you that feelings are not the measure of progress. Building while uncertain teaches you that clarity often comes through movement, not before it. Building while doubted teaches you that belief must come from within, not from applause outside. These are the lessons that only persistence can teach, and once you've learned them, nothing can shake you easily again. The beauty of persistence is that it compounds. A small step taken every day, even in weakness, adds up to a giant leap over time. Progress may look invisible in the moment, but persistence guarantees accumulation. The person who refuses to quit, even in difficulty, will always outlast the one who only moves when conditions are ideal. Consistency in the face of hardship creates results that sporadic effort can never match. When you commit to building, no matter what, you also inspire others. People watch you show up tired, and it gives them permission to keep going when they feel drained. People see you act in uncertainty, and it reminds them that waiting for clarity is a trap. People hear others doubt you, yet watch you succeed anyway, and it teaches them that external voices have no power over internal conviction. Your persistence doesn't just build your dream, it sets an example that multiplies courage in those around you. Persistence is also where breakthroughs are born. The wall you feel pressed against often crumbles one step after most people quit. The obstacle that looks impossible begins to weaken after repeated strikes. But the only way to reach that point is to keep hitting, keep pushing, keep building, even when every part of you says it's too hard. Progress is rarely a straight line. It is persistence that bends the curve in your favor. So builders build, not because it is easy, not because conditions are perfect, and not because everyone believes in them, but because the vision inside them will not let them stop. They understand that persistence is not glamorous in the moment. It's gritty, it's difficult, it's lonely at times. Yet, persistence is the price of progress, and progress belongs to those who keep building no matter the circumstance. Your mindset is the blueprint. What you think daily becomes the framework of your future. Every action you take is first born as a thought. Every decision, every risk, every success is the result of an inner dialogue that shaped the way you saw yourself and the world around you. If your mind is filled with limitation, fear, and doubt, then the blueprint you are working from is already broken. But if your mind is filled with possibility, vision, and faith, then you are constructing a foundation strong enough to withstand the storms of life. The world outside you is only a reflection of the world inside you, and until you transform the inner landscape, the outer one will remain the same. What you repeatedly tell yourself becomes the law you unconsciously follow. If you constantly declare that you are not ready, not good enough, or not qualified, then every opportunity will look like a threat, and every challenge will look like a wall. But if you decide to renew your mind with thoughts of capability, strength, and abundance, you begin to see opportunities where others see obstacles. This is why two people can face the same problem. One sees it as the end, and the other sees it as the beginning. The difference is never in the situation. The difference is in the mindset. The mind operates like fertile soil. Whatever you plant in it will grow. If you plant doubt, doubt will multiply. If you plant faith, faith will multiply. Soil does not discriminate between seeds, it produces what is sown. In the same way, your subconscious does not reject what you feed it. It nurtures it. That's why being intentional with your thoughts is not optional, it is essential. You cannot afford to let negativity dominate your mental space because it will construct a blueprint for a life you don't want. The blueprint of your future is being drawn every single day through the repetition of your thoughts. Habits are not just formed in your actions, they are first formed in your thinking. A person who habitually entertains fear will automatically hesitate when opportunities appear. A person who habitually cultivates courage will automatically take the risk when the door opens. What seems like instinct is really a product of long-term thought patterns. Your mindset programs your reactions before situations even arrive. If you want to change your life, you must first change your inner conversation. Every day, you must examine the thoughts that dominate your mind. Ask yourself, are these thoughts creating a blueprint for the future I desire, or are they reinforcing the limitations I want to escape? The mistake most people make is trying to change external conditions without shifting internal beliefs. But a weak blueprint produces a weak building, no matter how much effort you put into construction. Mindset is not about denying reality. It is about choosing how to interpret reality. Two people can walk through the same storm. One sees destruction, and the other sees preparation for new growth. Two people can lose the same job. One sinks into despair, and the other uses it as a doorway into entrepreneurship. The external circumstances were identical, but the blueprint inside each person dictated what was built afterward. This is why discipline over your mind is more important than discipline over your habits. Habits follow thoughts. If your thoughts remain small, your habits will remain small. If your thoughts expand, your habits will rise to match them. When you learn to direct your mind, you begin to direct your destiny. Your thoughts set the boundaries of your future. If you want to expand your results, you must first expand your mindset. Every great transformation begins in thought. The invention, the movement, the empire, it all started as an idea. Someone believed it was possible before it was visible. They built the framework in their imagination before they built it in reality. And once the mind accepted it, the actions began to align with it. That is the true power of the blueprint. It allows you to live in the future while still standing in the present. It creates a roadmap that your actions cannot help but follow. If your mind is the architect, then your thoughts are the tools. Every day you pick up those tools and sketch the lines of your future. Whether you realize it or not, a mind filled with fear draws crooked lines. A mind filled with clarity and courage draws lines that align into structure and strength. Your life right now is nothing more than the product of yesterday's blueprint. Your future life will be the product of the blueprint you are drawing today. When you realize this, you stop blaming circumstances, people, or chance for the life you are living. You understand that the true battleground is within. The life you desire must be built first in your mind before it can ever manifest in your hands. If the blueprint is strong, the building will stand. If the blueprint is weak, the building will collapse. And every day you think, you are either reinforcing cracks in the structure or strengthening the foundation of the future you want to live. Life changes not when things get easier, but when you decide to get stronger and take action. Waiting for ease is the greatest illusion because ease rarely arrives before growth. People often think their situation will improve when obstacles shrink, when pressure lightens, or when opportunities suddenly fall into their laps. But the reality is, life does not get easier on its own. Bills don't stop coming, challenges don't stop appearing, and critics don't stop talking. What changes is not the load, but the strength of the one who carries it. When you decide to grow stronger, the same mountain that once looked impossible becomes climbable. Strength is not built in the absence of difficulty. It is built in the face of it. Muscles grow only when they are pushed against resistance, and the same is true for character, faith, And resilience, every difficulty you encounter is not there to destroy you, but to develop you. The harder the test, the greater the potential for transformation. This is why those who continually wish for life to be easier stay stagnant, while those who embrace the struggle as training rise above it. The struggle itself becomes the classroom where your strength is born. Taking action is the proof of strength. It's not enough to simply think about being strong or talk about becoming stronger. Action is what transforms intention into reality. You don't become stronger by waiting, by wishing, or by complaining. You become stronger by deciding, moving, and executing even when you don't feel like it. Every step you take while tired, every move you make while uncertain adds to your strength. Over time, that strength becomes the very reason your challenges no longer intimidate you the way they once did. The pursuit of ease has deceived many into procrastination. They say, I'll start when things calm down. I'll move when I feel more certain. I'll act when I'm more prepared. But waiting for easy is a trap because easy never comes first. Strength must come first. The moment you shift your mindset and say, I will grow stronger instead of waiting for lighter, you step into a different level of power. Instead of being controlled by circumstances, you take control of yourself. That self-mastery is what unlocks change. Ease creates comfort, but strength creates capacity. Comfort may feel good for a moment, but it doesn't move you forward. Capacity, however, expands your ability to carry more, achieve more, and become more. The person who chooses strength over ease gains the ability to face storms without breaking, to endure pressure without folding, and to navigate uncertainty without losing focus. Life will never hand you fewer obstacles, but if you develop greater capacity, you'll find that what used to overwhelm you becomes manageable, and what used to scare you becomes conquerable. Every breakthrough in life begins with a decision. The decision is not about waiting for perfect timing or clearer conditions. It is about choosing to act regardless of conditions. This is where strength is forged. You don't need life to remove the challenge. You need to rise up and meet the challenge differently. When you act in the midst of adversity, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than the circumstance. That proof becomes fuel, and that fuel carries you into even greater action. Strength is also built when you stop negotiating with your excuses. Excuses are always rooted in the hope that life will get easier tomorrow. But tomorrow rarely delivers what excuses promise. The only way forward is to confront excuses head on and refuse to let them dictate your pace. When you no longer allow excuses to be your language, your strength multiplies. You stop seeking escape routes and start building pathways forward. That shift changes everything because now, no matter the obstacle, you are always moving. When you look back at seasons of your life, you'll notice that the times you grew the most were not the times of ease. Growth happened in the storms, in the uncertainty, in the pressure. Those were the moments that forced you to dig deeper, to discover capacities you didn't know you had, and to refine disciplines you had ignored. Life was not easier then, but you became stronger, and that strength carried you to the next level. That same pattern will continue as long as you choose strength over ease. Strength also attracts opportunities that ease never will. People are drawn